Yeah, all good. All good. Good morning. It's a nice, beautiful spring morning here, and another beautiful spring morning. Got up really early, go for a nice, peaceful walk. It's about 7 a.m. over here in the morning, and yeah, I was doing a bit of a reflecting, as you do, around being left out of the team. Being dropped. It's part of the football journey, I think. Anecdotally, now I'm not here to give anyone advice or make suggestions. It's just my own experience and my own thoughts. And I reckon getting dropped is one of the hardest things in football, especially sort of, in the team and getting sort of dropped can be, it can stir up a lot of emotions. Getting left out of the team. It can stir up frustration, anger, resentment. But I reckon for me, it can be also an opportunity to just pause and reflect as well. Whilst it's not great, obviously, but I think for me, it's a case of pausing and reflecting and saying, okay, well, what's in my control? Okay, I can't control, being dropped. All I can do is influence that decision by training hard, maintaining effort and application, and the right attitude to training. I think it's always important to keep in mind from a coaching perspective that managers and sort of coaching team and the backroom staff, they're all watching training throughout the week. They're not just watching the game. So being dropped is an opportunity to reflect and sort of show what you're all about, especially when things don't go your way. I mean, being dropped can be down to a number of different reasons. And it's also worth speaking to the manager at the right time, I think, at the right time, and sort of getting understanding, because it could be a tactical thing, it could be, carrying a bit of a knock, an injury, it could be out of form, it could be the manager thinks that you need a bit of a rest, it could be that, okay, they prefer to play a certain way. So if you do it professionally, at least in my experience, the managers I've sort of, worked alongside as a coach, if you do it professionally, respectfully, with dignity, then they'll be more than prepared to sort of give you a rationale at the right time, at the appropriate time, obviously. Speak about it. And that can be useful too. But some of the best performers I've seen, some of the best footballers I've seen, in terms of attitude to training and other things, a lot of them just, when they get dropped or left out of the team, they get their head down, and they sort of see it as a way to prove a point. They channel that anger, resentment, disappointment to being dropped. They may even speak to the sort of coaching staff, obviously manager, to sort of get their head round any information that can be useful for them to work their way back in the team. I think the key focus here, the key takeaway for me is you can control your response. You can't control the decision. That's out of your control. It's a managerial decision. The manager may have consulted, or more than likely consulted. Coaching staff, they've made a decision. You respect that. It's really important to respect that. What you can control is your attitude to training, the effort application, and obviously you can influence the response going forward, because if you get back into training, you channel it, you put application effort, you got the right attitude going forward, then that gives you a better chance to getting back in the team. And that's sort of my take on it. Is sort of, focusing on a response where you get your head down, you keep working hard. Obviously, another story for another day. It's a long-term thing, and you're not happy about things. You left out the squad, team. and you've lost your place in the team and you're not quite sure you're going to get it back, then obviously at that point, I think it's perfectly normal for players to think, well, maybe it might be time to sort of move to another club where I am playing. Not that I'm sort of emphasising players do that without sort of speaking to the manager at the right time, so to speak. But that's another story for another day. Today is more about sort of anecdotally sort of showing my thoughts on sort of being dropped. You focus on what you can control. And obviously it's perfectly normal to feel disappointed, frustrated, sort of angry. But it's really important that you are, and you focus on your response, you focus on what you can control. If you're on the bench, you are sort of a positive on the bench. You still get behind the team and you're ready for the opportunity as and when it comes up again, because you might be on the bench and you needed to go on to perform. It might be that the following week you get your chance again, or a couple of weeks down the line. But I think what's really, really important in that situation for me, control what you can and, get your head down and keep focusing on that application and effort, putting it in training and channel that sort of, that energy into response to sort of try and get back in the team in training, because the coaches and staff, manager coaches, backroom staff, they won't be just watching the game. They'll be watching training throughout the week as well, and they'll obviously sort of take note of what your response is. Well, that's my thoughts on it. Always great to hear your thoughts as well. That's my take on it.